Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Ashlee and I am a homeschooling mom of 4, and I have been sharing bits and pieces of our homeschooling journey here on YouTube for the last 4 years. So you guys have seen me through young kids, into all elementary aged kids, into middle school, and now here we are, upper middle school for my oldest daughter, and that is what this video is going to be on. A lot of you guys were around at the beginning of the school year when I shared what we will be using in our homeschool as far as curriculum goes, and you guys know that we tried something new, and the new thing that we tried was BJU distance learning. That's Bob Jones University. They've been around for a while, but this one is like an online program, but still done at your own pace, still very much homeschooling versus like public school distance learning, which a lot of kids have been doing this year. It is not like that. So I want to be clear there. But a lot of you have been wondering, do we like it? What do we think of it? And I wanted to really wait until we were about halfway done with our school year to be able to give you guys an update on what we think. And part of the reason why is because anytime you try something new, there's a bit of a learning curve for you as the homeschooling parent, but also as the child. And so I didn't want to get on here and give my opinion prematurely, because sometimes you might not be enjoying something right at first, but that's just because it's different, or it's presented differently, or you have to learn how to use it, different things like that. So we are about halfway done with our school year now, and so I thought I could get on and share what we think of BJU Press. And I actually had Kylie write down, this is her little handwriting, and so I am going to read what she thinks, and then I'll kind of pop in my opinions as we go through this. So this is just going to be a chatty update. Give me a thumbs up if you like homeschooling updates. I used to do tons of sit-down homeschool chat videos, and I haven't been doing them as much lately, and I don't know why. I think it's just because I feel like I don't really have too much to say, so I just kind of get on here at our quarter updates and kind of fill you guys in. But I know a lot of you enjoy this, so let me know if you enjoy updates down with a comment. But let's get in. We're going to go over everything that we have felt about the BJU Press distance learning. Right away, let's just briefly cover the classes that she is doing through them. And she is doing Spanish 1. She is doing Writing and Grammar 8. And she is doing Earth Science. So those are the 3 classes that we selected for her to do through BJU Press Distance Learning. So those are the 3 classes that she is taking through them. The distance learning option means that it's online, where they watch an instructional video and then complete a lot of the actual assignment online as well. There are some handouts that are needed to be printed and some actual writing, and they do utilize a textbook, or like a course book, I guess would be the better word, for the course, but it is primarily done online. The courses are auto-graded, and there's some things like when there's an essay question that you as the parent need to go in and read and then assign the point value for how you feel the child did on that. But for the most part, it auto-grades, and it's very, what's the word? Hands-off, for being like a homeschooling mom who is used to teaching every single subject to every single kid. This is a very hands-off curriculum, almost to the point of where if you were a like working single mom, or you like you had to go back to work but you wanted to continue to have your child be homeschooled, and the grandparents were going to be, facilitating that, this would be something that would be really, really good for those types of situations, because it is very independently done, and it's very hands-off in the aspect of like actual teaching coming from you. I don't teach her anything for those 3 classes. They're all taught by the instructors that are on their program. Now, they're not live lessons, so these are all pre-recorded classes, and some more than others she enjoys. They are a bit dated, I will go ahead and say that, my personal opinion. I think they need to update the instructors and the I don't know, the videography. It could be improved upon, which to kids these days who are used to watching, you know, all different kinds of things, those kind of things stand out to them and can kind of get in the way as like a distraction, because they're used to seeing like animation that's like state of the art, and YouTube people who like have nice filming setups, and just, I don't know, I feel like the videography could be improved on. It feels old. That's my opinion there. So I'm gonna read to you guys the list that Kylie gave me, and we will start with the good stuff, and then as I read that, if there's any little snippets that I want to add on to her opinion on the update, then I will add that on. I also did touch on a portion of an update for this in my Q2 homeschooling update, where I talked about, for the first time ever in 6 years of homeschooling, we stopped a curriculum midway and didn't finish it. And that was one of the BJU portions. So go check out that, because I don't think I'll touch on that whole thing in this video. So the good things about BJU, according to my teenager, is number one, in science, there are plenty of experiments. So she really enjoys the experiments that they have as a part of the earth science course. She likes hands-on things. I think most kids do, and they do a great job of that. Number two, she says they are good at explaining. So I asked her for clarification there. I said, which class? And she said all of them. She feels that the explanations they provide, the instructions they provide are pretty clear, and she's able to understand exactly what she's supposed to do. Number three, they have fun skits to help you understand better. So she told me that that's actually one of her favorite parts, and I asked her if that was just in her Spanish class, but she actually told me that it's in all three of the classes, that sometimes they'll have like skits of people acting out whatever they're talking about, and it helps her understand things better, and she enjoys that. The fourth thing she wrote down is that she enjoys, well, she wrote, it's a Christian website, but I'll correct her, it's a Christian curriculum. She is really getting into the age where, and all kids will go through this, especially kids who have been raised in Christian homes, but she's entering the stage where she has questions, and even though she knows the truth and she knows what we've taught her, she enjoys hearing what other people think and why they think that, and then like further validating why we believe what we believe. And so she enjoys that it's a Christian curriculum. She enjoys that in Spanish, for example, they memorize scripture in Spanish, and she loves that. She likes to recite that, and so she enjoys the Christian element of it being, you know, it's infused into all of their classes, whether it's writing, whether it's Spanish, whether it's science. It all boils back down to God is our creator, you know, and everything from that. Number five is that they incorporate the Bible in some way into every lesson. So those were the things that she wrote were good. For example, she wrote, in science, we learn how the Bible backs up science. And so she has been enjoying that. She's been enjoying hearing why, you know, people freak out about global warming, but from a biblical standpoint, here's how that looks. She enjoys hearing how, you know, National Geographic will say dinosaurs were here millions of years ago, but the Bible says this, and this is what we actually have as proof for that. So she's been enjoying that a lot, and I've been enjoying hearing from her on that. In Excursions in Literature, which is the Writing and Grammar 8 class that she's doing, we stopped the writing and grammar portion. It's a 2-part class because it was not working out for us. And so rather than toss the entire curriculum that I paid for, I said, let's try the literature portion, which is the second half of that curriculum. And she's been liking that a lot more. And she said that they talk about the different types of writing that are in the Bible, how some of the Psalms are like poetry and different things like that. And so she said she likes that. And in Spanish, the Bible verses in Spanish, she really has been enjoying. Now, that is all the good stuff. Now I asked her for 5. She only gave me 3. And I think it's just because she wanted to get off and do what she wanted to do, but I will, I'll fill in for her. So here's the thing she hasn't been enjoying. She said the Writing and Grammar 8 is very lengthy and it is hard to pay attention. This is one of the ones where the video instructor is very dated, and the lessons are very long and often will go back over it quite a few times, and I just think it loses her. So yeah, we set that aside. I think part of why that was such a challenge for her is because she's used to the Good and the Beautiful, which is so awesome, that it was like, I don't like this. This is not what I'm used to. And so yeah, that's what she said. She said the second thing that she doesn't really like is sometimes there's a lot to do. So part of that is her being a teenager, and part of that is her getting older and realizing that like school is not going to take 20 minutes per subject anymore. She's going to be working a little more diligently for longer periods of time. And I know she doesn't like that because her siblings are often done before she is. So she says sometimes they give her a lot to do. Number 3 is the videos are old and they are shaky. Again, I'm literally reading her exact writing. She's very big on videography apparently, and she does not like the dated videos. So that's her opinion. I mean, she would even talk to me about like the sweaters, and like it was just distracting for her. So those are her opinions on what she hasn't really been enjoying. So to summarize all of that, I will say that there's good things about BJU distance learning, but there's also things that I kind of thought that this kind of affirmed. And so moving forward, let's say if I were to do this all again next year, would I choose the same things? For Spanish and science, I definitely would. I am very happy with the Spanish. I cannot teach her Spanish in the way that Spanish needs to be taught. It needs to be spoken, it needs to be heard by someone who actually speaks the language, and it needs to be written, and she's excelling in Spanish, and it's really awesome to see. So I would highly recommend Spanish 1, and because I know about Spanish 1, I'm fairly confident that the other Spanish courses would be great. I think that will be something we continue to use for the foreign language. The writing and grammar / excursions in literature thing, I only tried because there's no level 8 with the Good and the Beautiful. And the way Kylie finished the levels, I didn't want her to start high school language arts for 8th grade. So I thought we could just try this and just see if it was going to further cement some of those things. She's the kind of kid that definitely needs to continue to do something to not like completely forget a lot of it, and I didn't want her to forget all of the grammar that we've worked so hard to teach her. But if I had to do it again, I would pass on that course. We really just haven't liked it. It's just, for us, the Good and the Beautiful just works so well, and I knew. And she has been doing the book studies because I know people are going to ask me that too. But yeah, it's just not our favorite. Science, however, is really good. The earth science course is fantastic if your kids want to do like a biology course in their freshman year, just to kind of get them prepared and understand like those basic level things first. Unit studies are fun, and that's what we've always done in our homeschool, but moving into high school, I felt that we needed a solid year spent on one science topic, being earth science, in order for her to move on and not have any gaps there. That was just my personal opinion. So I think the earth science course is great. Those are kind of my overall general opinions of it. And those are kind of the things that I see myself continuing to use this curriculum for. Probably just foreign language and science. Those would probably be like for high school levels. Now, for the younger levels, based on what I've seen with the higher levels, I would not recommend this for elementary. I really feel strongly against a child's entire homeschooling education coming from a computer. That is just my personal opinion. That would not work well for my kids. I think it's great to use for little pieces, and it also helps them be able to learn in different ways, and I think that that's really valuable. But I personally would not want my 3rd, 4th, 5th grader being on a computer on this distance learning option for the majority of their homeschool. Even for high school, I will not transition into that avenue. We will use it for separate classes, but definitely not everything. I just am not a fan of that being the homeschooling experience, but it does have its place. So, you know, that's just my family's preference and opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. I think the information is fantastic, but I just don't think that you can just sit your kid in front of a computer and like be like, oh, they were homeschooled, you know, because really it is very hands-off. And I don't know if that changes in the lower levels because I haven't done them, but in the upper levels, there's nothing that I'm doing. She's completely self-guided and self-directed. I verify at the end of the week that the assignments are done. We do a quick check on the grades, make sure that they're where they should be. I will review her tests to grade her essay questions, and then that's really all I'm doing. So like I mentioned at the beginning, if you have a unique situation that might be short term or maybe a year or, you know, whatever, then this could be a fantastic option. But for my kids, I wouldn't want their whole homeschooling experience to be spent on a computer. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. My middle of the year review is I like it for a couple subjects. I'm not a fan of the writing and grammar portion, and we will not do that again next year. A lot of why I chose to do this year was to see, okay, what are going to be some great resources for high school? And I feel now that foreign language and science are probably going to be something we continue through them for her. Now, my son is coming right behind her. He's only 1 grade behind her, and I don't know that this option will work well for him. He is a completely different learner. He's got a completely different mind, and I'm just not quite sure. So even within my own little family, what works for one child does not work for another. Kylie is very independent. She's very self-guided. She can do a lot of things. My son needs my help with guiding and facilitating, and I think he'd be overwhelmed with the amount of buttons and where he needs to navigate and go to, and so I'm not sure yet. So don't hold me to that. My opinion may change for him, but I'm not quite sure that this will work for all of my kids. Now, like, we have some pieces like Are the Good and the Beautiful that works for all of them, which is so wonderful, but other curriculums, they just might not. And so that's where I'm at. We like it. We'll continue with The Spanish and the science, I'm pretty certain. But I personally, Kylie and I were not a fan of the writing and grammar. And I think it's good for a couple of high school classes, but again, I wouldn't want my high schooler even to be learning primarily just from a computer screen. I want to have that interaction, and I want to, I don't know, I just am, that's where my homeschool mom heart is. So I wanted to get on and give you guys a little update. If you have any questions, please post them, because I know I couldn't cover everything in this update. Leave them down below and I will give you my honest feedback. Again, just be reminded this is my personal opinion, and everything and every family is different, but this is what I think, so I just wanted to share it with you guys. I hope you're doing well. Give me a thumbs up for updates, and I will see you in my next one really soon. Bye guys.